Algebra I, Sensei Learning System, Lesson 31. We're going to solve this system by substitution. We need a isolated variable, and we do, which is y equals. And so we're going to replace this y here. So this becomes 3x plus 4. And instead of the y, we're going to write parentheses 3x minus 1. And set that equal to 11. Okay, now from here we're going to distribute our 4, which will give us 12x minus 4, distributing here, equals 11. Collect like terms right here will give us 15x's minus 4 equals 11. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. This gives me 15x. This cancels, equals 15. Divide by 15 on both sides, and we find that x equals 1. Okay, so this gives us x. Now to get the y value, we're going to put 1, replace 1 here for x. So we'll get y equals 3 times 1 minus 1. 3 times 1 is 3, and then 3 minus 1 is 2. So there's our value for y. So x is 1, y is 2. Here, we're going to use x for substitution. So everywhere we see an x, we're going to put a y minus 4. So here's our 2x plus 4y equals negative 2. We're going to replace the x with a parenthesis and place inside the parenthesis the y minus 4. Then plus 4y, and then equals negative 2. And this x has been replaced here. Distribute our 2 across the parenthesis. We'll get 2y minus 8 plus the 4y equals negative 2. Now I'm going to collect by terms. The 2y and the 4y will collect to become a 6y minus 8 equals negative 2. Now I'm going to add 8 to both sides. This will give me a 6y equals 6. Now divide both sides by 6, and this gives me y equals 1. Okay, so that's my y value. Now to get my x value, we're going to go back here and we'll plug in 1 for y. So this will be x equals 1 minus 4. Well, 1 minus 4 will be a negative 3. And that's our x value. So x is negative 3, y is 1. Number 3. We have y equals negative 3x plus 2. We're going to use this for substituting here for y. So we're going to have 3x minus, and now for substitution we're going to use parentheses, equals 10. And inside the parentheses we're going to put a negative 3x plus a 2. And for distribution, we're going to treat this as though this is a negative 1 outside. Okay, so we're actually distributing a negative 1 here and here. So 3x, and negative 1 times negative 3x gives us positive 3x. Negative 1 times positive 2 gives us negative 2. And that's all equals 10. Then we're going to collect the 3x's together. That'll give us 6x minus 2 equals 10. Then we're going to add 2 to both sides. And this will give us 6x, these cancel, equals 12. Now divide by 6, and we end up with x equals 2. Now we're going to make a substitution of x equals 2 into this x here. So this will now be y equals negative 3 parentheses plus 2, and what replaces the x again is 2. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 plus 2, and a negative 6 with a positive 2 makes a negative 4. So that's my y value. So what we find that x is 2 and y is negative 4. Okay, here number 4 we have a substitution here for y. That will be 4x plus 8. So we'll replace this y right here with the 4x plus 8. So we'll begin by saying x minus 2 with parentheses equals 5. Now inside the parentheses, we'll put the 4x plus 8. And now we'll distribute our negative 2. Negative 2 times 4x is negative 8x. And a negative 2 times 8 is negative 16. And that gives me 5 here. Okay, now I'm going to combine these two terms, and a positive x and a negative 8x gives me negative 7x minus 16 equals 5. Okay, and then from here I'm going to add 16 to both sides. This gives me negative 7x, this cancels, and this adds together to 21. Now I divide by negative 7 on both sides, and we end up with x equals negative 3. Now to get my y value, I'm going to replace this x right here with the negative 3, so this becomes y equals 4 followed by parentheses plus 8. What goes in the parentheses is a negative 3, which is a substitution for x, and we get y equals negative 12, because 4 times negative 3 is negative 12 plus 8, and a negative 12 plus 8 gives us negative 4. So what we find is that x is negative 3 and y is negative 4. Number 5. Our substitution will be x. X is isolated and will become negative 3y plus 4. So we'll take the 4x minus 5y equals negative 1. 4, then followed by parentheses, minus 5y equals negative 1 here. And what goes in the parentheses will be the negative 3y plus 4. Distributing by 4, I'll get a 4 times negative 3y will give me negative 12y, and 4 times 4 gives me 16. Then the minus 5y, and then the negative 1. Combining like terms, I'll put the negative 12y and a negative 5y together to become a negative 17y. Plus 16 equals negative 1. Then I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. This will give me negative 17y, this cancels, and these add together and give me a negative 17. Dividing both sides by negative 17, I get a positive y equals 1, and that's my y value. Now, I'm going to replace y with 1 here, make a substitution. So this becomes x equals negative 3, then a parenthesis, plus 4. And the replacement will be 1. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, then add 4. This makes x, negative 3 plus 4, 1. So we find that x is 1 and y is 1. Here we'll make a substitution of all the y's here to become x minus 5. So we begin with 2x minus y equals 9, which is 2x minus, then we follow by a parenthesis, equals 9. And inside the parenthesis we'll replace that with the y with x minus 5. Now we're going to distribute here. We'll put understood negative 1, or 1 here, we'll get negative 1. We'll distribute a negative 1 here and here. So we get 2x, and negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5, and that equals 9. Then we'll combine the positive 2x and the negative 1x, we get 1x. Plus 5 is equal to 9. Then I'll subtract 5 from both sides, and we find that x will equal 4. Now I will replace 4 here for my x, so I have y equals parentheses minus 5, and a 4 goes in the parentheses, and a positive 4 and a negative 5 together combine to make a negative 1. So we find that x is 4 and y is negative 1.